Good morning, student. As in our previous period we started poem, so little bit introduction is completed in our previous period. Okay, so in this period I am once again starting from the starting portion only. So now unit 2 having poem, that is geography lesson. Okay, so geography lesson, that means that from that name only you come to know that some geographical points may be included in the poem, that we getting an idea from the poem's name. Okay, so now we are going to start this geography lesson. Can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet above the ground? Means in this poem, what poet telling us that can you imagine your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet from the ground, you above that ground 10,000 feet. Have you imagined that how it's look like? Neatly planned and perfect in proportion like a geometric design. So when we observe from that much height, then it look like that okay, it's a neatly planned and geometric design, that in maths you having a geometry. Okay, so in geometry we having so many shapes, different types of shapes like triangle, circle, square. Okay, so then we come to know from that much height from the ground that yes, that is this city is planned in a well prepared manner and in a geometric design. It would strike you as something very different from what it actually is while you are in the thick of it. And when means we notice our city from the ground level, okay, from the earth, when we notice, then we think that this is not proper planned and that thing is not unavoidable also, that state of being unavoidable. Okay, here is a poet's description of just such a view of the city and some questions that come to his mind. So in this poem, poet try to explain about or giving a description of such a view of the city, that how the city look like from the height, and some questions that comes in his mind. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Means when the jet took off to that much height, then this thing is clear in our mind that why the city is arranged, why the city is planned in such a way. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, means 6 inches, that here 6 inches is equal to the 1 mile, it shows here. Okay, so seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability. So when we see from this much height, then that thing is means unavoidable. Inevitability means the state of being unavoidable. That thing we not avoid, that thing unavoidable, that thing is. About what on ground had looked haphazard. Haphazard means not in a proper plan. So from the ground when we see the city that is not in a proper well mannered or in a not a proper plan. Okay, so that thing is unavoidable, unplanned and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. So when the jet sprang into the sky, then from that height we come to know that whatever the city is just now arranged, that is Okay, but when we saw that same thing from the ground level, at that time means that thing is not unavoidable. We are not avoiding that thing, and we having that question that why it is not in a proper plan. Then after, when the jet reached 10,000 feet, now the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. So when the jet reached up to the 10,000 height from the ground level, and at that time when it clear in our mind that why the country had cities, means why country having such a cities. In cities we found rivers, we found valleys, we found mountains. Yes, so why that thing is with man? So that thing comes clear in mind that why the valleys were populated. Populated means being inhabited. Okay, so the logic of geography, this geography subject you having in your SST, yes or no? So that land and water attracted men. So reason for this, that inside the city we found rivers, we found mountains, we found valleys. Why? Because those things attracted men. Rivers, mountain, valleys, those natural things attracted man, and that's why man and those things are living together. Was clearly delineated, means that is clearly defined. Now we clear with that point that why inside the city we found the rivers also, we found the mountains also, and we found the people also. We found the inhabited population we found there. Yes, when the jet reach 10,000 feet. So from when the jet is reached 10,000 feet, at that feet, from that height, means this thing is clear in our mind that whatever the things are there, the things attracted the man, attracted the people, and that's why we found both the things in the city together. Then when the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. Here means whatever the heights taken, that just for the explanation portion it is taken. Okay, that near about this much height we come to clear this, near about this much height we come to clear this. Okay, so when the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. And we know very well, as in our geography we learn about this, that earth having 70% water in it and the 30% part we people are living. Okay, in that habited we found inhabited in that 30% of the area, and 70% is fully fulfilled with the water. So when jet rose, went up to the 6 mile high, it was clear that earth was round. Okay, that thing we come to know in our geography also. Then, but it was difficult to understand, means up to that each and everything is clear in our mind, that why this thing is like this. Okay, we having an answer for this, that why the peoples are living with the rivers, with the mountain in the same area. We clear with that concept also. We know very well that the earth is round. Yes, we know very well the thing that the earth having 70% of the area water and the 30% area we people are living, okay, with so many other creatures. Yes, but it was difficult to understand that the man on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. From that height it was not clear why, means from that height every geographical point clear in our mind that because of this reason this thing is there, but this thing is not clear from that height that on the earth why people's make walls between them. Walls in a sense means in earth we found so many different types of people, we found so many different religions, yes or no? So why people creating such boundaries, why they creating such boundaries to each other, and why they kill each other, why they hate each other, why they make differentiate between them, okay, according to the caste, according to the religious, why they create such boundaries. This thing is not clear from that height. As everything live on the same earth, then why there is such type of differentiate, why we found the walls, the barriers they create between each other. This thing is not clear from that height. So poet is not able to understand, or poet don't having that answer of this particular question, that if each and everyone is living on the same earth, then why we all are not same? This question is still remaining a question. Poet don't having an answer, and from that height also he don't have any answer. So this poet is written by Zulfikar Ghosh. Okay, the thing is that poet wants to say, if everyone is living on the same place, then why we people hate with each other? Why we having such a points that we differentiate about each other? Why? So the thing is that or if we are living on the same earth, then we have to be live with friendliness, yes or no? We have to be respect for each other, no need to hate for each other, as one we have to be live. That message is given by the poem. So student, here our poem explanation is completed. So now we are going to start writing hard words of the poem. Okay, so now give heading in your notebook: geography, lesson. Write down the poem name. Now write down hard words. Hard words. Sprang. Sprang. Then inevitability, inevitability. Then after, write down next one: populated, populated. Then rose, haphazard, haphazard. 6, delined, delined. Then, so these hard words you have to write down in your notebook. Now, word meanings. Give heading, word meaning. Write down. Word meanings. Word meanings. Sprang, sprang. It means moved up or took off. Inevitability, inevitability. Inevitability, state of being unavoidable, state of being unavoidable. Then after 3, populated, populated, full of inhabitant, full of inhabitants, populated. Then rose, that is went up, went up. Then haphazard, haphazard. It means without any plan, without any plan. Delined, delined. It means defined, defined, delineated, defined. Then next one, write down. Build walls, build walls. This walls here, we are not talking about the walls we having in our home, okay. This walls is here talking about, here in this poem, create barriers, yes, barriers, that problems, to separate people, that walls means here. Then after, we are going to start now, answer the following question. Here E, separate. Okay, now give heading, answer the following questions. Write down. answer the following questions. Answer the following questions. Okay. So now in this question 1, find 3 or 4 phrases in stanzas, that is the paragraph. Stanzas 1 and 2, 1 and 2, which are likely to occur in a geography lesson. Just now we read this poem. So what we have to do, we have to find out 3 or 4 phrases from the stanzas, that is the paragraph which are given in our poem, 1 and 2 which are likely to occur in a geography lesson. Okay. So now write down answer. The phrases are first one, that scaled 6 inches to the mile. 6 inches to the mile in the poem, that means what? 6 inches to the mile, that is 6 inch, it is given 1 mile. Okay. So we have to find out phrases, 2 or 3 or 4 phrases from the 1 and 2 paragraph, such type of phrases. Then 2, land and water attracted men. Land and water attracted man. Then the valleys were populated. And one more we have to write down. So write down 4th phrase. See, geography lesson, that is, the poem name is geography lesson. Yes, and whatever the phrases we are write down, now this is also related with the geographic. Yes or no? Geographical figure. The first one is, that is scaled 6 inches to the mile. Then after land and water, such things you read it now in your geography, that land and water attracted men. Yes, then valleys were populated. This thing also we learn in our geography. So that way we have to write down the phrases. And the 4th one, the country had cities. This thing also we learn in our geography. The country had cities where the rivers ran. So we have to write down phrases, but which are related, as we can say, with the geography. Okay. Now question 2. Write down question 2. Seen from the window, of an aeroplane, the city appears. Seen from the window of an aeroplane, the city appears, means the city is look like, appears. So in this we having an option as haphazard, as on ground. Haphazard means not in a plan. Then 2, as neat as a map. And the last option is in this, as developed, as necessary, So it is developed as it is a necessary. Okay. So question is that mark the right answer. So as 3 options are given and 1 sentence is given, so from the window of the aeroplane, if we look the city, then we having a 3 option, mark the right answer. So now which is our answer when we look? So as neat as a map. Our answer is as neat as a map. So 2 option, as neat as a map. This is our answer. Okay. So student, in this period up to this much, whatever we just now completed, just go through with it. Further will be continue in our next period. Thank you. Goodbye.